Alright, so this is my second stab at commentary for this, because the first time I forgot to turn my mic on. So this is the Headmaster kill. I had promised that I would get a pretty clean kill video for this. I won't be talking as much as I usually do in my videos. I'm going to let things happen, but I'll explain things out from the outset here so you know what's going on. The Headmaster is an incredibly difficult boss to damage. He's not a terribly dangerous boss to control with the abilities I have, but he's incredibly difficult to damage, especially damage safely. Because he has 70 spell resistance, around I think 72% concealment, but that might have been after blind fight on a summon. So he has at least 70% concealment, which makes orbs and specifically orbs and touch spells are really hard to work with. He also has regeneration. He has really nasty spells, including Mordenkainen's Disjunction, Finger of Death on his friends. Like he has, okay, so there's the Headmaster, which is like a super revenant, and then there's 2 revenants, like normal ones, in the fight with him, close to him, and there's 4 Balors, or I guess some people call them Balors. I just ended up calling them Balors because I only saw the word for a while and decided that was how it was pronounced. I never heard people say it. So I gotta use 5 spells to open the door. Now we've got about a minute of downtime where I'm waiting for Greater Sanctuary to come off cooldown. So I'll talk about the bridge ahead and what I'm going to do for the kill count, because this boss fight demonstration does not get the kills necessary to get credit for the boss, which is what we call a kill count. I have already a bunch of guardians behind that wall of stone that you see there blocking the doorway. That decoy was to get them out of the way to open the door safely, but that also provides me with the starting point to kill them safely. I can use a cloud that doesn't break the wall. I can use some damage spells that don't break the wall. I can use more to lower their spell resistance if I gotta. They have some kickback, but I can heal against that, so it's not a problem. The kill count should be simple enough. So I would set up differently into this. And then I would try to get enough kills on the first rest. I would try to get, and then the bridge coming up, the side that I try to walk across, will have 3 guardians at a time. So there are 3 guardians appear next to me and I gotta walk around them. And then revenants on the left side. If I came across the left bridge, it would be reversed. The guardians would still be in my way and the revenants would be on the opposite bridge. That's just the way the spawn triggers work. And I think if you ran down both bridges, you would get both sets of spawns. So that would work in the same way as the first room for the guardians, and then the revenant, I could either use time stop and grab him, or I could use Big B Swarm. I could use Missile Barrage for a safe kill. So each enemy in this boss fight deals kickback damage. That means that if I damage them, they'll damage me back. Nothing I can do about the damage except block it somehow. So the Headmaster is the most dangerous. He deals magical kickback, 60 per hit, and I can't be immune to that. I have 5 resistance, but he still deals 55. The Revenants deal negative damage, and I can be fully immune to that with 1 spell, Life's Grace. It makes me completely immune to negative damage, among other things. Then the Balors have fire kickback. I use quite a few different effects here to boost my immunity to that, so I'm almost completely immune to it. So I pretty much am not going to be taking fire damage from them this fight. Also, when the Balors die, they explode, and that deals 200 magical damage to me, something else I can't block. I'm using Create Undead here to bait the Revenants. As you saw, once they ran out of spells, they rushed the center, and then they were caught in Big B Swarm with the Headmaster. That shuts down their casting capabilities. Otherwise, they would use some really dangerous stuff on me, especially Mordenkainen's Disjunction, which would strip everything off my buffs, including the negative and fire immunity. It would be a really bad thing if I were to be hit by that spell. So mostly here, I'm trying to get some damage rolling on them in a safe fashion. So I set up the wall here around myself such that it's pushing all the Balors out. I'm going to change the positioning up a bit because it didn't work out as well as I thought it would. But this was just an idea I had to just start in the middle like this. I made a few mistakes. I started buffing while I was in the cloud. I should have moved away from the summon. They can summon the cloud on me while I'm in Sanctuary though, so that's important to remember. The cloud, all it does is deals a little damage that I'm immune to. And, oh, I didn't even notice. I almost died there. That was interesting. So there you see right there how I ran to the wall. That was the turning effect of the cloud on Holy Blight. About a 5% chance for me to get hit by that, and if that happens, it's pretty bad. So I don't want to be in the cloud if I can avoid it, but I have to be inside this wall. The dragon statue is kind of a nuisance in this fight because it breaks line of sight, which means I can't hit with spells around it. So during this fight, I'm going to go to town 3 times to rest. I believe I could only have to ever make 2 trips to town to rest during the fight. So probably this can be made a bit more efficient. Part of it is in my spell selection and my positioning. My spells going out aren't as efficient as they could be, and there's a couple instances where I made a mistake with my spell preparations and didn't have the tools I needed to kill something. The main 3 damage spells here are Meteor Swarm, which deals divine damage, Great Thunderclap, which deals sonic damage, which the Headmaster is not immune to. In fact, Meteor Swarm and Thunderclap tend to deal about the same amount of damage, unless you empower Thunderclap, and then Thunderclap is better. And then I also use an Orb spell. Here I'm using Orb of Cold, but there's no reason to use that spell. I should be using Orb of Acid. Both elements affect the Balors. I think Acid is slightly more effective, and it also affects the Revenants and the Headmaster, if I can get it to land. Also, once I'm in my wall, unless I fear getting hit by Blight and running to the edge of the wall and getting hit in melee, I really should only be buffing with immunities that I need, negative and fire. I should only be getting what I need to soak the damage. There's also a mistake here. The order of actions should be summon first, then buff, then wall, then grab. Here I didn't do the summon first. So the Balors that are up there, that are at the top there, not only could they be brought closer, but my wall duration is already ticking. It lasts 3 minutes 48 seconds, same as the grabs. And this was also okay. I was about to. I guess I decided not to use Gust yet. That was a good idea because Gust would have broken Sanctuary and got me dispelled. So I need to be buffing while I try to get the Balors in position with the summon, and then I need to do wall and grab right before I start damaging, because I want them to be up as long as possible so I can spend as much time casting offensively as possible. I did not do that as much here, and that's a big part of making the most of my spellbook. The Balors are immune to 5th level spells and below, so I'm kind of limited in what spells I can use to affect them. I can't use level 4 orbs, I can't use Vitriolic Sphere, I can't use Bigby's Interposing Hand, which is something I tried when I first started planning this. So Meteor is affecting most of the enemies here. I'm immune to almost all the kickback damage that's going out, except for the Headmaster, and I'm using heals to recoup that lost health, but I'm also using Tensor's Transformation to give me some temporary health above my maximum. It's a pretty meaty chunk of temporary HP, and it provides quite a cushion so I can cast for longer. It's mostly a safety thing. I think it might be faster to just use heals. As far as the kill count, I think the enemies on the bridge are favorable if I don't need to kill everything. Okay, see how the wall disappeared there? That tells me that the grabs are about to go away. The durations are the same, although I did take a while to grab after I used the wall. So that tells me, oh, the timer's almost up, I gotta leave and rest. But yeah, as I was saying, the enemies on the bridge I think are favorable for the kill count if I don't have to kill everything. I'd rather kill the ones on the bridge. This is because I need to get the epic spells that I'm using in this fight before I do the fight. And they are in that, they're in the runes surrounding that pit just before the boss fight. It's between the bridges and the boss. So I have to get those 4 runes, and then I have to be able to rest. And the best way to clear enough space for that is to just kill everything before the runes. And there's quite a few enemies there. Because of the Headmaster's kickback, certain spells are kind of off limits for me to use. Things that hit many times. Some stuff like Evard's Black Tentacles, Isaac's Greater Missile Storm, Missile Barrage. These things are not viable because they would kill me. Someone in the forums also suggested a strategy where I would lay a whole bunch of delayed blast fireballs on the ground, like 30 of them, and then bait the Headmaster across them. They would gain spell penetration by being set, so I'd have a better chance to hit with those, and they are fire damage, which he is vulnerable to. However, it would probably kill me in the process because of all the incoming kickback damage. So the strategy that I'm thinking of using as far as positioning, at the start of the fight, I would run up and summon like I usually do. Then I would back off to about where that dragon symbol is on the floor in front of that dragon statue. And I would wait for one of the Balor groups to run at the boss, to run out of spells and charge the summon. And then I would position myself on that side and get ready to wall over there. That would make sure that I I would wait for one side to rush, and then I would move to the other side between the Balors and the boss. So I've already got one group of Balors at the boss and the other one on the other side of my wall, and that might let me hit all of them at once with Meteor Swarm. And if I can do that, I wouldn't need orbs. Probably no orbs at all. And this could take even just a single intermission rest in the middle of the fight. Nothing in this fight has a lot of regeneration though, so resting in town is pretty safe. Here I didn't bring any orbs, and I should have. I thought I would be able to kill the last Balor with Meteor Swarm, and I was not able to do that. So I had to take one extra rest here, and I figured since I've got to bring some extra spells to kill this last Balor anyway, I'll just rest now. Should be going in a second here. So here I am prepping some orbs. So ideally what would happen is I would get all of the Balors damaged, including the Headmaster, with meteors on the first go round, and then throw a whole bunch of orbs out to kill them if possible, and then the second try would be all thunderclaps, including empowered ones, which would be very efficient at killing the Headmaster. Once he's alone, he's really easy to deal with. So you're baiting the Balor in again with a summon. Setting up my immunity spells. And I don't need wall this time because I can get both of them with Bigby Swarm. Headmaster was really close to death here, in fact. So I'm throwing orbs out at the Balor to kill it off. And while I do that, the Headmaster is actually really close to death. I don't realize that, so I start casting a meteor at the end here to try to kill him. And he dies before I can hit. Just from cloud damage right here. There he goes. And that's the Headmaster kill, solo as a third. At level, no pre-obtained gear, just gear I got on the way. Got a couple rares and the 4 usual books. So, thanks for watching.